We have very few literary figures of national stature. The first great literary figure of national stature was Kalidasa, because he was known all over India by all writers who practiced writing in several Indian languages, and he was like a model for writing. And that was natural because Kalidasa wrote in Sanskrit, which was a pan-Indian elitist language, not the language of the people. After that, the marvel was that Tagore became the literary model. Although he wrote in a language which is regional, not as ancient as Tamil, not as numerous as Hindi, yet he became a national figure because of his concerns, because Bengal was passing through that colonial phase, and he was a painter, he was a singer, etc. And Tagore became a national figure for every writer in India. And after Tagore, Premchand was a national figure. We all grew up reading Premchand, again because of certain progressive concerns that Premchand expressed, not merely of a region. He was true to a region and also to the nation. All these people are true to their own regions and also to the nation, They don't address national questions in a general way, but in a very regionalized way. And Premchand became a national figure like that. And after Premchand, I would say Karant was a national figure. National literary figure. He was not the greatest of writers even in Karnataka. Karnataka had greater writers than Karant. In fiction, Karant was a great fiction writer, but Kuvempu's one novel is greater than any other novel that anyone wrote, Malagadali Madhuvagalu. But that doesn't make K.V. Puttappa the great novelist. Karant is a great novelist, although he may not have one novel of that kind. But Chomananduri is a little thin, but it is a novel that the whole India, because of it, became theatre. Karant was a secularist and a non-religious person. He questioned every religion, but when it came to art and Puranas, he was a Yakshagana man. There are two Karantas. One who delighted in Duryodhana, in Bhima, in Dushasana, in Shani, any Puranic character through Yakshagan, and the other who questioned every one of them in his fiction. So there are several Karants. That's why I have written an essay called Karant, the Authentic Man. He had to authenticate everything that he believed in. So he became a theatre man, and then he taught Yakshagana everywhere. Even that is controversial because Yakshagana has a lot of speech here, a lot of humor here, a lot of even vulgarity in it. So he tried to purify Yakshagana and take it all over India. And in his own place, Yakshagana people questioned him doing that. But Karant was steeped into the Shastra of Yakshagana, and I think he got the whole spirit of Yakshagana and made it possible for Yakshagana not only to survive in Karnataka, but elsewhere also. He reminds me of a poet like Yeats, who was very fond of Irish folklore, but he knew that Irish folklore is not like European myth. But he tried to bring Irish folklore nearer European myth, to belong to a larger place. And Karant did the same with Yakshagana. B.V. Karant has many things similar with Shivram Karant. B.B. Karant ran away from home because he was very fond of books and he stole some money from the landlord for whom he was working, and he was so afraid. But he had stolen that money for books and joined theatre. So Karant went through not only theatre of the kind that we all admire, but the popular theatre also, because he joined Gubby Veeranna and became one of the good actors in Gubby Veeranna company. From there he went to Benares because he wanted to learn Hindi, and he became, I have found that many Hindi writers accept B.V. Karant as a Hindi literary figure. This is one of the generosities of the Hindi literary world, is, it can take translations also. So B.V. Karant could take a Kannada play and make it famous in Delhi. As a matter of fact, there are two figures who became All India figures because of B.V. Karant. One is Kambar, his play, and Girish Karnad. Again his play. And it was B.V. Karant who put them on the national scene. So that again is a great contribution of B.V. Karant. But B.V. Karant and Shivram Karant didn't accept it. B.B. Karant accepted Shivram Karant, but Shivram Karant won't accept B.B. Karant. He would even say the dudi is not to be held like this because he was very particular about certain things. B.B. Karant was more interested in theatre as such, but Shivram Karant wanted everything to be authentic, and so when he made a film, it became just a bad film. It was difficult to tell Shivram Karant that it is a bad film. This is one of the failings of Shivram Karant. But theatre was wonderful. And also he was interested in children's theatre. That again, I think, made B.B. Karant a man of universal appeal, his interest in children and make the children play with ordinary things of the road and then make a theatre out of it. So, and another thing, I think B.B. Karant was a genius so far as his knowledge of theatre music was concerned. And he had a universal knowledge of music. And I think B.B. Karant goes beyond any culture, any singular kind of culture, because of his interest in theatre music. And he had plenty of it, B.B. Karant, beyond the languages. And he had a good singing voice also. So he will never be forgotten because of his songs. He used to speak English very poorly. And that was his strength. That's why he learnt his Hindi better. And I have always welcomed that kind of a thing. A man who can connect through one of the Indian languages is going to make greater contribution to India than people like me who connect to India through English only. This is something which has happened after independence. Before independence, it was not like that. People would connect through one of the Indian languages. The Hindi people would connect through our languages. Gandhi would sign in every language. And B.B. Karant was a man who belonged to that. And there were jokes about his English, And that was not jokes, but something that endeared him to many people.